Hey everyone, it's Melanie Browning here with Spotlight Interviews. Tonight I am interviewing Joshua T. Peterson, who will be joining me here shortly. Again, it's another Spotlight interview where I get to celebrate this amazing, where I saw him was in the role of an actor, but he's much more talented than that. He brings so many talents to the table, and we'll get into that here shortly. I see, postcards for Tara join. Thank you for joining in, and Josh is here now. So again, I would like to welcome Joshua T. Peterson to the show, where we're going to dive in, and where I really wanted to share was this cool story of how he got the role and where I got to see him on set. So let's get you on here. Oh, you already requested. Awesome. Let's see, did that work? Uh-oh. There we go. I hear you. There you are.
Awesome. Yeah, here I am. Hey.
What's up, Josh? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And I want to apologize. We were trying to get this coordinated a lot sooner. I think we met on set. It's been over a month ago now, and I've just had stuff going on. So I apologize, and thank you so much, Josh, for being so patient with me.
Absolutely.
And for joining live. So guys, let's just go ahead and jump in. I met you on the set of the pilot for the TV series Beans, which a lot of the guests that I've had on, I met there as well. I was really fortunate to get on set and meet all of you wonderful actors and artists in all forms. So do you mind starting off and just kind of sharing how you got that role?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess it was kind of serendipitous. So I was with my fiance and actually my kids doing Christmas in July in Glendale, doing face paint and balloon twisting there, which was extremely hot to be dressed Christmassy. Anyway, so we did that event. So I was dressed in a top hat or a Christmas tree painted my face. I'd light up candy cane suspenders and a Christmas tie. And then we went to perform at an open mic that we run at Jared's Coffee in downtown Mesa. And we literally walk in, I'm going up to the stage, and this crazy bald guy walks up to me. He's like, hey, what's up? He's like, are you an actor? I'm like, well, I guess sometimes a little bit, yeah. He's like, I think you'd be perfect for a role in the TV show that I'm shooting. I'm like, okay. He's like, would you be interested? I'm like, sure, I guess, yeah. He's like, here's my card, call me up.
That's so awesome. And that crazy bald guy is watching now. He's joined us live, and that's Jeff.
There he is.
Jeffrey. He's there. He's the writer, producer, the everything pretty much for this show. He really brought a whole group of amazing people, including Vincent Rutley, to the show. So yeah, what I heard from him, from his kind of story, and he'll be on here also to be able to check it out and give his take on it, was basically they were doing auditions or something in the other room and was hearing some noise, he said, over in the other room, and went over there and was can we get him to quiet down maybe? And then he just saw you and he was like, so it's really cool to hear that side of the story. And that's, I think, a lot of actors, a lot of people really, want that to be in the right place at the right time. But,
right.
Looking at it that way, it's it seems like, oh, what a cool fairy tale story. But let's kind of backtrack and go into, what kind of led up to that, and what led up to the events to where you were in the right place at the right time. What is your background in entertainment and in acting?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes back to childhood. I remember being a kid watching the first Back to the Future movie and watching Michael J. Fox, as Marty McFly playing Johnny Be Good up on the stage. And I remember looking at that and saying to my parents that, I probably said it with some little lisp, but I want a rock guitar. I probably said rock guitar or something. But anyway, so anytime we'd go to a Schmidt Music or Guitar Center, I'd be like, look, it's a rock guitar. I always wanted a Flying V
That's awesome.
electric guitar. So it was kind of my passion where I wanted to be a musician. And then later on in my teens, I got more into acting because I loved, Shakespeare and theater, and got involved a lot in competitive speech and debate. And then I did a lot of one-man plays. Had some for about 5 years at a couple different venues where I would do the entire book of A Christmas Carol just by myself, being all the characters. And then I ran a few speech and debate clubs and had some national champions, which was really fantastic. So I loved it. So that was where the passion came from. And then I did lots of bands and music through high school as well. So my passion for music and everything was there. And then when I turned about 18, I made the dumb decision. Back then, I thought I was smart, but reading a lot of actors and musicians, you see how, they were like 40 years old, living in their friend's closet or whatever. And I'm like, maybe I'll get a marketable career so I have something to fall back on in case this doesn't work out. When I was about 18, I got a job at Wells Fargo as a banker, and then that turned into about 11 years of misery and craziness because it's not where I belonged.
Yep, that's a story. It's kind of funny. You get different stories. Some people are like, "Yeah, my parents were into it," or "I was just really into it and I went to it." And then a lot of people did the same thing, where it's like, "Oh wait, I need a real career, a real job," because you have all those things in your mind, and you move forward. What was it? Where was the changing point for you, where you're like, "No, this is I need to go back into it."
Yeah, I mean, probably around like my mid 20s, I realized that I needed to make a change, but I didn't really know exactly how to. Especially, I grew up in Minnesota in the Midwest, where a lot of people there are, Scandinavian immigrants, where it's like, look, if you're born a farmer or a milkman or a mailman, that is what you are for the rest of your life. They don't really have dreams outside of outside of the Midwest. So breaking out of that was kind of difficult. So I think the first step was when I was just tired of the cold and moved to Arizona. And
What brought me here, by the way, that's definitely what brought me there. So,
same thing.
tired of the snow.
Right. So finally getting some vitamin D in your soul, you're like, all right, I feel some energy and some good vibes. And I actually got a job at a comedy club at the House of Comedy up in Northern Phoenix, and ended up running their sound there and just watching like a lot of comedians. And it kind of was fire to my soul, I guess, just watching people being artistic, especially seeing people do the grind, even if they weren't, making a ton of money, they were doing it for the passion. I'm like, all right. And then I got to, be the sound guy. So I got to do the announcements and sound like, the announcements they do for like WWE or something. So it was a lot of fun and kind of broke me out of that mold. And then I eventually started to meet some more other like creative types and creative people. And it kind of helped, I guess, put me on a trajectory towards getting out of corporate America.
Now I have to ask, like, because walking into Wells Fargo, did any of that bleed into your work there, either with your coworkers or with customers or anything like that? Like, were you that guy, or was it just a completely different person?
Oh, when I was working at Wells
Mm-hmm.
Fargo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it bled into it a lot where I'd get a lot of people saying, hey, you look like Johnny Depp, or the worst one was someone said I looked like Caveman from a Capital One commercial.
Oh, that's going back a bit. Yeah.
Right, I got Russell Brand a couple times, but yeah, so it came through. So a lot of people are like, you just have that vibe. Like, I feel like you should do, like, you'd be an actor or something. I'm like, well, actually, I kind of want to be. And they'd be like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just here to pay the bills, I guess. So a lot of that bled into my work life. And then it eventually became a thing when I would tell people I was a musician or into acting, and they'd ask like, okay, so what have you done? What have you been in? And since I didn't have any credits in anything, they'd be kind of disappointed and frustrated and like, well, then what are you doing with your life? So eventually, I guess kind of a sad time, I stopped telling anyone that I was an actor or a musician for a while, because since I wasn't doing anything with it, it just made me feel more depressed when they would feel kind of sad and or judgmental towards me for working at a bank. So
Yeah, that makes sense. And during that time frame, did you see a shift within yourself? Like, did you start to doubt it more and more, or did you just say, I need to keep it to myself? Like, where were you at in that state?
um, in that state, it started to feel like something that was impossible, where the responsible thing to do was to kind of give up the pipe dreams and, just do what the man says, put your nose to the grindstone, bring the bacon for the family, and stop being such a narcissist and thinking that you deserve to be something special
Oh,
And
wow.
it tried to absorb that, but it never quite stuck. So instead, it just turned into like a horrible, like self-loathing and depression, and eventually kind of a hatred of myself and a hatred of even like where I was working at. Looking back, it's easy to see that was a perfect time for me to say, you know what, peace out, guys, and to make a change. But at the time, what everyone was telling me, whether it was family or just corporate America, was that to quit something steady and reliable like a corporate job was basically being lazy and being a bad provider to your family. So I tried to stick it out for a while longer, um, which in hindsight I wish I hadn't done. But at the time, I just felt pressured into doing that. So
I think those moments are good. It might be something I'm telling myself because it's been, I 20 years I took off from doing, moving forward on the things that I truly love and that I feel are creative. Um, and so I kind of look back and, you kind of want to beat yourself up, but I also look back at it as, okay, look how long I got stuck there. I don't want to do that. So I kind of try and use it as motivation and as like, man, yeah, I can really, if I don't keep pushing forward, I can really get stuck somewhere for a really long time, and I don't want to waste that much time anymore. So yeah, it's kind of I definitely feel that. Now I know you said the cold, kind of helped shift that. But were there any things or any steps that you did that you took, or people that helped you kind of shift that way of thinking? Is there any one moment, or is it just kind of like a gradual thing?
I mean, gradual, sure, but I had some people I knew in Arizona who had done a lot of work, especially like in ministry where they were kind of on the road all the time with their church or whatever. And they're like, look, if you're kind of a borderline homeless vagabond, it's not all that bad because there's joy in it. You get to do what you're passionate about. At that point, I mean, I had kids, so I couldn't be a homeless vagabond. But I was kind of like, okay, I kind of like letting go of the materialism and just like embracing like the adventure and the journey and letting go of that fear of needing to have two cars and a house and a this and a that or whatever. Um, I think kind of helped me like let go of that fear, realizing that it wasn't that important, and that as long as I had the essentials I needed for like my family and my own life, the rest of it didn't matter. Like, and some of the luxuries didn't necessarily need to be there, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I really like how like you really emphasize the letting go. And for some of us, we need to grab onto things at certain times, and sometimes it is just a matter of letting go and shifting our perspective on things. So that's awesome. Where I got to see you, you were just absolutely amazing. You grabbed my attention with your just your energy in the acting role, and you got to play as well and sing. So I was just like, wow, definitely impressed by everything that you brought to it. And so I was really surprised that that was your first like on camera type role. And I think you did an amazing job. And
Thank
also
you.
going through and now that I follow you and see this different stuff that you do, go ahead and let everyone know some of the things that you do and what it looks like, what your life looks like now following your passions.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of me kind of getting out of everything is my fiance ran an entertainment company. So she's like an author and there's like face painting, balloon twisting, all this crazy stuff. And I was working in insurance at that time, kind of feeling like this a little bit every day. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. Like, what would happen if I just joined you and did stuff with you? She's like, really? That'd be pretty crazy. I'm like, yeah, but I'm done with this crap. So like, let's do it. Um, anyway, so now, yeah, so I'm CFO of an entertainment company with my fiance. So I do everything from fire breathing, fire eating, face painting, balloon twisting. I play guitar and a little bit of piano, so I'm a live musician. I also DJ. You do costume characters, impersonations. So all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's been super fun. It's pushed me, and then depending on what gig we have, let's say like hey, do you do juggling? I'm like, I do now, So
You're like, yes, hold on, how to juggle.
right, like, do you do henna? And when's the event again? 2 months. I'm like, I sure do. I sure do, henna. You got it. So it's really pushed me, and it's really been helpful because my fiance really believed in me, where she's like, "I see your talent, you got this." And at the time, I was like, "I don't got this. I'm so stressed. I'm not ready. I'm gonna blow this." She's like, "Ah, you'll be fine." And then I go up. I'm like, "Oh, I guess I was fine." She was like, "Yeah, I told you." So
That's awesome. It's so good to have that support. I'm glad that you have that because it's really amazing watching you, and I believe it's your fiance that I'm seeing making these different reels and stuff together. And just it looks like you're having an amazing time and bringing just joy and fun wherever you go. I love all of your costumes and your face painting
thank you.
and the energy. That's for sure. So what is it? I know like it was kind of like your dream to be able to be a musician and act full time. Is there anything from this point, whether it be, you know, the looking at it from the entrepreneur, the CFO kind of position, or looking at those goals, is there anything, you know, a major thing that you're aiming for now, or is it just really going with the flow and enjoying it?
I mean, going with the flow and enjoying it, I think, is important because I think one thing that growing up that I really struggled with in life was contentment because I always wanted to be, you know, an astronaut or the president of the United States or something extreme. And it's good to have ambition, but sometimes if you dream too much over here and don't enjoy the moment, you can miss all the beautiful moments along the journey. So I feel like there were a lot of beautiful moments that I missed out on while stressing out about the future. So trying to find that balance. I mean, like, you know what? I'm here right now, and apparently I'm a male belly dancer dancing around with a sword. Like, let's enjoy this and have fun with it. You know, and then, you know, that it's okay to still have dreams for the future, but it's also okay to enjoy the moment. As far as dreams go, there's been a lot of dreams I've had throughout my life, but the two of them that have never gone away is like music and acting. So I feel like especially, you know, just doing the pilot for Beans and getting to meet a few different amazing, talented actors and actresses. I'm like, okay, you know, let's use this little fire here and let's kind of like build on it. So my goal is to get like an actual real acting reel together and then to, you know, start doing more you know, other like small films or what have you to kind of, you know, build the experience, build the resume, to do that as something larger because it's been a passion since I was a kid and it's a passion that hasn't gone away. So I kind of want to like press into it and just believe that it can happen and not just because I've seen some other people who started doing it, you know, in their late teens or early 20s. But, you know, now that I'm 30, starting it now, like there's nothing wrong with that. I think I let a lot of defeatism affect me in my 20s, and I'm kind of ready like just to let it go. Like, you know what? Live your best life. If you're better than you were yesterday, that's what's important. You know, look to other people maybe to encourage you or guide you, but don't look at other people to, you know, beat yourself up. That's not the point.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely keep looking for it. I mean, really, with your energy and what you bring to the table, just in you, keep moving forward. Keep your eye on that, and keep going forward. And you'll definitely. I mean, the people that we were able to meet on set, just hearing their stories and how they just keep moving forward and they keep working on their craft and they keep moving forward and they keep their eye on it. And you know, they get those rejections and how, you know, different people deal with them and just keep and then, you know, it's, you know, you hang around the barber shop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So
Yeah,
and
I like
that's,
that.
you know, and that's kind of like, you know, I see you post, I don't know how often you're at Jared's tea and coffee gallery in Mesa. I just they were so wonderful and letting us film there. I don't know, are you there quite often? Is that some place that you go to a lot? Is it just kind of one of those things, a season in your life, or um, can people hang out and see you there?
Yeah, so my fiance and I actually run an open mic there every other Saturday.
Okay.
Now we're busy most of the time, so we have to find other like comedians or musicians to host it a lot of the time, even though we're still the ones technically running it.
Oh,
But
gotcha. Okay.
especially during the summers when like the parties and everything in Arizona get a little slower because it's so hot outside. Um, we are usually there like every other week. So um, I've performed at Jared's I think maybe twice over the past like 4 months. So it hasn't been a lot recently, but I used to be there, you know, every other week, pretty consistently, just practicing guitar and like learning how to MC and host an open mic. So
That's awesome. Um, well, and where else can people get to see you and your fiance's work or be able to reach out to hire you? Where's the best place for them to go?
Absolutely. So obviously, if you follow me at Genuine Masterpiece on Instagram, you can message me there. I'm also on Facebook under Genuine Masterpiece, or you can look up Joshua T. Peterson and find me as well. The website for the entertainment company that my fiance and I run is Splendid Absurdity. So if you look up Splendid Absurdity, we're on actually WordPress. So if you look up splendidabsurdity.wordpress.net, you'll find us. Yeah, so we have our own website, plenty of photos of face painting, balloon twisting, DJ photos, fire all over the place. If you're really lucky, if you come to one of our shows, you might even see my hair get lit on fire. Who knows?
I was gonna say I've been like fortunate enough to be at events where there's different people that work with fire, and you see them out there and you're like, wow. But after a while you watch it and it looks kind of easy. I don't know why that even got in my head, but then I was able to sit like back in the green room with them and hearing them talk and the different places they got burned and how long that they can do this. Like, did that really take a while for you to learn, or is it just as you're continuing to do it? And how do you let go of that fear?
So the first time my fiance was teaching me to eat fire, she was like, okay, so just like, I know your instinct is to not put it in your mouth, but like just put it in your mouth, you got this. And it was like, it was terrifying. So I went to put it towards myself and I got scared and flicked it away. And actually lit a little branch on fire. We put it out, it was fine. But
better than you. Yeah.
right, exactly. So the process was very difficult at first, but then eventually got like braver, especially like I guess the little boy in me. I was like, yeah, fire, burning stuff. So I got where I could put like 1 or 2 or 3 torches in my mouth and put them out, or like put it out of my tongue. And then eventually learned like fire breathing. But I mean, there's been a couple of mishaps practicing where I like burn my eyelashes, or I lit my beard on fire, or my hair on fire a little bit. So it's never happened actually performing in front of people, but there's definitely some idiotic stuff I've done practicing by myself in the backyard, being a little too aggressive and excited. And then Adriana would be like, well, yeah, why would you do that? Why didn't you check the way the window's blowing? I'm like, I don't know. I was just feeling the moment.
I know now.
Right. It's been exciting, and then now it's something that's not so scary and then controllable. So whether it's like with fire whips or like a huge dragon staff, or I can even light my arm on fire. So.
Wow. I haven't seen that. I definitely need to come to one of your shows. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, you definitely should. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. So if there's any filmmakers, I know there's a ton of filmmakers here in Arizona. I'm loving it out here and the talent is amazing. So if you're looking for someone high energy or, subdued a little bit, music, fire breathing, any of those things, and something else that you just want to throw out there, I'm sure he can pick it up very quickly. Definitely contact this guy. He's your man. And any words of advice? I love celebrating people. Your energy is beautiful. I love it, Josh. It's absolutely like, it's contagious. It really was. It was like, it was hard because like, like it was my first time script supervising and I'm there. It's like one word off and I'm like, what do I, like, I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want to interrupt your flow because it was just like, that's pretty good. That's awesome. So, yes, keep going forward in that. And sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. But oh yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Besides what you've already shared, is there anything directly that you had to tell people that maybe are working at a Wells Fargo or in a law enforcement career or in the thing that they don't really want to be in at the moment and they're putting off their dream? Is there any one piece of advice that you'd like to share with them?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. One thing is asking yourself, what is your dream? What makes you happy? Instead of thinking about maybe your girlfriend or your parents or your coworkers about what they want for your life, like thinking what you really want. And I mean, I think it was Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, who said, like, if somebody is afraid of your dreams, they're telling you, their limitations, not yours. And that's kind of like helped me a lot to realize that if someone's terrified of you, risking it all or going all in on something or falling forward, that's because it's too scary for them, but doesn't mean that it's too scary for you or you can't do it. And a lot of other advice
Absolutely.
I've heard from a lot of people is, I guess my biggest piece of advice is create uh, don't create a backup plan. That sounds irresponsible and dumb. But the second you create a backup plan, like in case I fail, I'll go to my family's, dental practice or whatever. The second you make that decision, you've already failed because you're
Yep.
already planning to fail and you're scared and you're afraid and you want to fall back on something. When you have those moments where, maybe you're getting going and maybe not as much as you'd like and you're not sure if you can pay the rent, you have to be willing to cry a little, scream a little, breathe a little, and keep pushing forward and not ditch it and jump into whatever your backup plan is. Because I think for me, having a backup plan of some financial experience or whatever is actually what made me like segue for about 11 years into a miserable existence when I could have just been pushing forward into something I actually loved the whole time. And truth be told, if you're working a dead end job, you're not going to be a millionaire anyway, and you're probably going to have the same money problems that anyone else would have pursuing something else. So if you're not going to become a millionaire, you might as well do what you love. So the thing I love about what I'm doing now is when I make a decent amount of money, I'm happy. But if I don't make a decent amount of money, at least I'm doing what I love and, perfecting my craft, and I can look at myself in the mirror and be proud of myself. And that's something in the past, I didn't have before. Even if I closed $1 million deal, I didn't go home and be like, high five, Josh. I'd go home and be like, oh man, I still hate what I do. So
Wow. Hmm.
pursuing what you love is important, and not listening to all the naysayers, even if it's scary, even if you have to go through those hard times or those moments of doubt. It's worth it, and knowing that even all-time low can't last forever if you're building towards something beautiful that you're passionate about.
That's awesome. And so true. So true. Thank you for following your passions and the thing that you love to do and entertaining people. Like how fun is that? Just being able to interact and give that to the world. So that's super powerful, and we need that. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining me here again. Thank you for
Absolutely, my pleasure.
all the
Thank you for
reschedules.
having me.
Yep, that's awesome. Thank you again, and we will definitely let you know when Beans is available to be seen by the public. If it's going to be, hopefully,
Right.
I
I'm so
think
excited.
maybe, but it'll be down the road. But stay tuned, and I will definitely keep you posted. Make sure you follow this man right here, and enjoy and like and comment, and book him if you need him for anything. He does everything. So,
Absolutely.
yep. Awesome. Well, thank you again. And thank you everyone for joining. Coming on soon, Jamie Romano will be joining us.
She's
Again,
amazing.
I had to reschedule her as well. So she's hanging on there and she's being patient with me. And then we'll have Jeffrey on when I think he's going to be going on vacation or something. So two more people coming up from the show. So thank you again and stay tuned. And also go back and watch the other interviews from the amazing people from the Set of Beans. Thanks everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Melanie.
Josh. Bye-bye.
Bye.